The downfall of Mercedes Mone in AEW needs to be studied. At one point, Mercedes was the queen of queens. She was the undeniable champion of champions, 10 belts, Mone, everything that you want to say out of the best wrestler on the planet, everything that you would want out of the best wrestler of the planet, you got from Mercedes in 2025. But now her character has taken a downturn. And while many people will tell you that this is unexpected and she's getting buried, in reality, this is exactly what needs to happen to the Mercedes Mone character in order to build her back up. Because if you go back and remember, when Mercedes first debuted in All Elite Wrestling, it was at Big Business Live in Boston, Massachusetts. It was a celebration akin to the first dance that saw CM Punk come down the aisle in the United Center to a raucous crowd in his hometown. That was the vibe. That was the energy that AEW was able to recreate. And Mercedes came in as a hometown hero. Mercedes came in as a babyface. And this is almost contradictory to her entire rise before AEW, because the vast majority of the time that she was in WWE, she was a heel, and that gimmick always worked for her. But the expectation in AEW was for her to come in and immediately be that big-time babyface that the company wanted in their women's division. And despite that desire, things did not go that way. Mercedes' babyface run initially in AEW, while still yielding some good matches, yielded pretty bad character work, and it just felt like everything that she was doing from a character standpoint was unnatural. She had this big flashy entrance, yet you were expected to believe that she wasn't full of herself as a character. She had this pomp and circumstance about her, yet had done virtually nothing in the company to deserve it. And all the while, her promos were very similar to the ones she used to cut as a heel. So all of that being considered, it was a no-brainer when AEW finally decided to pull the trigger and make her a heel and make her the villain in the women's division. Because at the same time, you also saw the rise of the true babyface, the true hero of the AEW women's division, that being Toni Storm. And when you have these two forces, eventually they are going to meet, and that is what happened at All In 2025. And that was a key turning point for Mercedes, because that was her first real big loss in AEW. And that was at a time where she was going out and winning belts in other countries. At one point, she had more than 10 belts under her banner, and all the while found herself challenging time after time for the AEW Women's World title and falling short of that goal, losing first to Toni and then, of course, to Chris Statlander. And ever since then, ever since she's got those two losses, she has now lost the ROH TV Championship to Red Velvet. She lost the TBS Championship to Willow Nightingale. And now her character is also lost. For the first time, we are seeing a vulnerable Mercedes Mone. For the first time, we are seeing a Mercedes that is at a breaking point. For the first time, we are seeing the character of Mercedes not exude confidence, not tell us that she's the best in the world, but doubt herself. And to me, I think this is opening the door for not only her to lose the rest of her belts at a certain point and potentially put some people over, but more importantly, it lays the groundwork for a major babyface run, and in fact, the major babyface run that AEW originally wanted when she came to the company back in February of 2024. Mercedes has a chance to use all of the emotion, all of the weight of this downfall that she is in, this spiral that she has suffered, to rebuild her character and get over the one major hump that she has been unable to. She has won world championships all across the world. She has been a world champion in WWE. She has competed in sold out arenas, main evented WrestleMania. But every time she challenges for the world championship in AEW, she fails. And when she gets over the hump, she will do so as a hero. She will do so as a babyface. She will do so as a conqueror. Finally, by God, finally taking hold of the women's division as she promised to do back in February 2024. To me, that is the compelling story that needs to be told with Mercedes. And it doesn't mean that you can't now have the pomp and circumstance. It doesn't mean that you now can't have the great entrance that she has and that confidence that she exudes. But what it does mean is that when she does that, when she has gone through all of these trials and tribulations and suffered these losses, put over people, lost to people, had people doubting her, had people make fun of her, had people throw cake in her face, all of the things that are currently happening right now, it opens the door for every piece of celebration, every confident promo, every single time she comes out with pyro and people chanting CEO, it makes it all more warranted. And that is the beauty of professional wrestling. You can turn a loser into a fighter, into a winner, into a conqueror that quickly. And that is what I think is the most compelling thing that AEW can, should, and hopefully will do with Mercedes Mone. She came in to change professional wrestling. She came in to revolutionize women's wrestling globally, and she has done that. She has achieved that. She has conquered everything all across the world. Now it is time for Mercedes to take stock of what is going on in her backyard, because the AEW Women's World Championship is the final prize to finally cement her as possibly the greatest women's wrestler of all time. And to me, the right person and the right story is going to be potentially a heel Toni Storm. But hey, that's a video for another day. But that's what I think they will do. That's what I think they should do. That's what I think has to happen. But in the end, I guess we'll see.